Welcome to the Home Services Success Stories podcast powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business. I'm Julian Placino, your host, and we have another great show in store for you today because today we have Michael Moffett, who is the president at Moffett Plumbing and Air. Michael, welcome to the show. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Excited to learn more about you and the business. So let's jump in. So, Michael, take a moment just to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do for the business.
Lovely. So, as you said, I'm Michael Moffett. My father started Tom Moffett Plumbing back in 1969. So I'm a second generation owner. Took over in the mid 90s for my father and slowly added other services such as HVAC. So, obviously, we've changed the name to Moffett Plumbing and Air. So I'm CEO, president, handle all the day-to-day stuff. I do have an operations manager that does quite a bit for me, but pretty hands-on, to be honest. Still kind of like the family feel that my dad started over 36, 37 years ago now. So we still try to maintain that same family, those same family values, if you will.
Gotcha. And excited to dig in more about the culture and some of the values. But what would you say you love most about what you do? Being kind of hands-on at the day-to-day, as well as providing the strategic vision. What do you love most about what you do in the home services industry?
I love helping people. That's really the extent of it. And when I was in the field, that was really the draw, right? Going out to people's homes and be one of their worst days, something they weren't expecting,
Hmm.
and turning the table on them and realizing it was a great experience and solving their problems, being the superhero. It was very, very rewarding. And now I'm in definitely a different role. In management, I put out a lot of fires,
Hmm.
but I've transitioned to we still obviously help people, whether it's not so much hands-on for myself, but definitely with the community. We do a lot of community outreach and different programs that we do here to really help out our community and be known in the different cities that we serve, but also what we do for our employees. And I feel that's one of the biggest rewarding things that I get to be involved in is seeing them progress and um, you know supplying for their families and being successful and just exceeding uh, their dreams more than they could ever realize. It's really, really empowering.
So it sounds like it's quite heavily based on service, helping people, serving the community, also your
Absolutely.
people, who are, of course, your boots in the ground to delivering the service that it is your home service business. So I think all that's great. Um, Give us a bit of the genesis story behind Moffett. So take us back to the beginning. How did the business originally start? What do you think your dad's kind of vision was for starting the business?
Interesting. I mean, my father wasn't a visionary. He fell into plumbing because it was his. My grandparents owned a restaurant, and owning a restaurant, you have a lot of drain issues. And I think my sister was already born. I have an older sister who's 2 years older than I am, and there's stories of they would give her baths in the commercial kitchen sink at the restaurant. But I believe the story was that, yeah, they had a drain issue, and my dad started talking to the drain technician and decided, hey, I can do this, and just decided that was what he was going to do, and really started as a drain cleaning operation.
Hmm.
Um, didn't really have a goal or a great scheme or a plan of what was going to transpire. It was a way to support his family in the early 70s. He'd grown it to I think 4 or 5 truck operation, couldn't handle it, let everybody go, went back to a 1 truck operation. I remember we ran things out of the house from a very young age. I remember being when we did have 4 or 5 technicians. I remember being in his office, crawling around the floor, and everybody sitting on the ground, Indian style, like crisscross applesauce style. And that was the office, right? And I'd crawl around and sit on these guys' laps, and yeah, it was not a very large operation at all. Fast forward, 20 some odd years, and again, my dad had gotten frustrated with employees. Um, that wasn't his forte. His forte was, again, helping people.
Hmm.
He loved doing that. He's one of the best plumbers I've ever met. Very, very quick, easy, quick to diagnose, thorough. Just an amazing technician. But business wasn't his forte. And, so in the mid 90s, he was getting frustrated. Um, we did grow it at that point. I think we had 4 trucks when he decided to leave, and decided to move out of our market. Just handed it to me. I was mid 20s, and he said, "You run this. I'm kind of done. You run it, and we'll split the profits." And being a young, naive 20-year-old kid, I thought, great, I'm going to make all kinds of money. And it didn't take me too long to realize there were no profits to split. But that's all right.
Interesting. So when that proposition was brought to you, was there hesitation on your part? I mean, growing up in the home services industry, when I've met, second generation owners, some like love it, some hate it, some leave and come back. So where did you sit on that spectrum?
Uh, there was a lot of fear, a lot of fear. It sounded great as far as, income, but the pressure was huge.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I had heard it from several of our clients, that they had used other companies, and then second generation took over and it was never the same.
Mhm.
So I heard a lot of those stories, and so there was a lot of fear of not being able to, you know fulfill my father's legacy properly. The other side of it too was, as I said, we had 4 trucks. The other 3 gentlemen that were working for us, I basically was their apprentice through my teen years. And so here I am in my early 20s. They're all 10, 15 years older than me. And all of a sudden, I'm the boss. That was a very unique situation to be put into. The dynamic was odd. Uh, and it was hard for me to kind of overcome those obstacles for a little bit. It was a rough few years, but eventually found my footing, and here we are. So.
And at the time, were you just straight up in the field? Like, did you have any type of leadership experience when that transferred over to you, or?
No, none whatsoever. So yeah,
Right.
I still worked in the field 60, 70 hours a week, and then was trying to manage whatever we had to manage in the office. It wasn't, a big organization. There was sometime in my day, I would stop by a bank and make the deposits. And then at the end of the day, I would go through all the paperwork and, you know, collect all the checks that everybody had turned in and create the deposits for the next day. And so sometime in my route, I would, oh, there's a Bank of America. I'm going to stop there and make this deposit real quick. It was there wasn't a whole lot of managing of an office. We didn't have a marketing plan. It was we'd been in the industry at that point 25 years, 25 years.
Mhm.
Um, so we had a decent client base, but there was no marketing. There was no business structure. I had a woman answering the phone. Eventually, I hired another woman to come in and help answer the phones, who was a girl I was dating, and then that was my wife, and she answered the phones for a while, until we outgrew that as well. It's been a fun road. It's been definitely a fun road.
Yeah. Okay. So what is it? So it started from scratch with your dad, and it looked like at the time there were 4 trucks, right? So what's the status of the business now? How many employees? What does the business look like?
So at 4 trucks, I want to say our biggest year that we had, in the mid 90s, we lucky if we pulled 300K cumulatively for the entire business. Uh,
Hmm.
if we were not priced properly, again, my dad was not the greatest businessman. He figured if he charged somebody $45 to clean a drain, he
Hmm.
had $45 to go spend that night. Didn't realize all the other costs that came involved with running a business. Where we are now, we have 32 employees,
Wow.
trucks in the field, uh, between install crews, salespeople. I think we have 23, 24 people.
Amazing. Okay, so what was the difference then? What was kind of the scale point, the new skill that you had to develop, a new business practice or whatnot? How did you go from like sort of day to day in the business versus actually now growing the business?
Well, it was from the failures,
Mhm.
really, not having any structure whatsoever, and just continually failing. It didn't take me long to realize that it was just going to be, a hamster wheel. So I actually found an organization, Certain Path, which is a Success Group International back in the day.
Hmm.
And that was the first time I realized there's a lot to being a business owner. And I needed to stop being a technician and being an owner and work on my business.
Love it. Okay. So what would you say were some of those things? And very familiar to Certain Path. Shout out to them. We actually produce some shows there out of their studio here locally in the Dallas area. But what would you say were some of those kind of practices that you implemented that really moved the needle for you?
Well, it's just a matter of tracking our numbers, realizing that we were in control instead of being reactive to, the demand calls that would come in, and just taking them at face value. And um, I think also not maximizing the opportunities. Back in those days, it was run and gun, right? You took every call that came in and you just fixed the immediate issue and got out of there and moved on to the next one. It wasn't uncommon for us to do 12 service calls a day per truck.
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't serving the clients properly. We were clearing a drain, fixing a drippy faucet, replacing a fill valve on a toilet, and moving out. There was no looking for the root cause of what the issue was. There was no building any value. We and it wouldn't be uncommon that we would see the same client 3 or 4 times in a month, and they would be frustrated. You guys were just here. Well, we didn't address this other issue because we didn't dig into it. We weren't providing good quality service, and that's what Certain Path really brought to the table was, look, slow down. Um, let's look at every opportunity and make sure that we're providing amazing value to our clients. Let's make sure that they're not being inconvenienced by having to have a plumber out multiple times a month.
Mm-hmm.
Let's solve the issue and maximize revenue as well, and provide amazing customer service.
Yeah,
And
so the thing that I heard is really getting to know your numbers. What are the metrics within the business that actually can help you grow and scale? Also improving quality and looking for every opportunity to maximize not just revenue, but also value for the customer. So you've definitely for sure gone from survival mode to like scale and growth now, but you're obviously a leader in home services. So what would you say that you have done differently than other home services companies out there? Because as you know, it's a crowded marketplace. So what is your secret sauce?
I feel the thing that we do differently than other people in our market is the amount of training that
Mhm.
we supply to our employees.
Okay.
Obviously technical training, but also role playing and objection handling. We spend 4 days a week training, and some people that have been through our organization, they get frustrated with it, and they're not the right people to be here. But the reality is we want a consistent experience each and every time. Um, and you can't do that if you don't put in the time. And
Mhm.
so we spend a lot of time with our people, our staff in the field. They're the frontline employees. They're the people that are interacting with our client base day in and day out. And if they don't have the same core values, or if they don't have the same drive, or even just focus on what we're trying to do, it's not going to work. And so we're very meticulous about the training and about how we expect a service call to go, and what we expect. And then, of course, we track those expectations.
Yeah, so I heard training and also tracking and also measuring, measuring the outcomes that they're responsible for. So training is one piece, but hiring the right people is another. And as you know, it's like tough to find awesome home services talent. So what have you learned about attracting the right people, interviewing the right people, finding the right people that match all your values?
That's it. We stopped probably about 7, 8 years ago. We stopped hiring for skills
Hmm.
and started hiring for core values. um, we can teach the skills. And I'm proof positive that I started as an apprentice, and here I am now president and CEO.
Mm-hmm.
It can be taught. If you're mechanically inclined, we can teach you. It may take, you might be in a truck for 2 or 3 years as an apprentice. You might be an apprentice for 5, 6 years. I don't know what that looks like. It's different for everybody, but I
Mm-hmm.
can teach it. What I can't teach are values. And so we hire 4 people that fit our scheme, what we're trying to do. Integrity is job one. And we've had a lot of people who will come through the doors and go, yeah, I have those same values. And you'll realize real quick in an interview process that it's just not there. And so that's what we've really tried to do, is focus on making sure that the people that we're hiring are the same people we want in our homes. And
Love
then
it.
we'll teach the rest.
So technical skills, you can teach and train it, but you got to hire the right character, the personality, the core values, so you can go so much further with the right person. I think that makes a lot of sense. So as president and CEO, and of course the owner, you're always responsible for kind of future strategic vision and also innovation. And as you know, the show here is powered by Peakzi. You're a customer of Peakzi. So I'm curious, what has been your experience with Peakzi?
Um, Technology moves so quick. I mean, it really, really does. Again, been in the industry as long as I have. It amazes me how quickly the marketplace changes. And in the past, we have been a little bit slow to adapt. We didn't have a website for many, many years. We didn't allow booking online for many years. As I mentioned, we didn't even have a marketing plan at a point in time. And since joining with Peakzi, I mean, we've really been able to focus on the next wave, and that's AI. So many people are using Gemini or Grok or whatnot to do searches for home services, and without knowing what is out there on the web, what those AI spiders are pulling up. You're letting yourself just be a subject of what's out there. You're not controlling the narrative. And Peakzi has given us a platform where we now know what people are saying about us out there, and what these bots are doing and what they're finding about us. And we can, of course, now direct that narrative and alter it. It's a great insight tool, and it's just growing day by day. It's so amazing how quickly the environment's changing.
Any significant outcomes you can report having used the Peakzi platform?
I just see call volume has gone up tremendously. It started out slowly, but it's growing day by day. That we're seeing call volume that most of it is generated from an AI search of some sort.
Nice.
It really seems like some of the pay-per-click options that used to be the big player is diminishing, and it's impressive. I mean, anytime we book a call, we're trying to get down to the bottom of where do they find us, and it's tough in this market with just in the environment that we're in. Whether it's our billboards, radio ads. At the end of the day, we used to always get, "Oh, I found you on the web." Well, you found us on the web when you did a search, but something sparked a memory because you saw our billboard or you heard our radio ads. Now we're able to dig down a little bit deeper and go, where did you get this? And say, actually, I asked Grok and this is what they told me. And so that's it's exciting to see.
Yeah, it's like the nature of search is changing, like how people seek information. Because as you know, you've seen it, like it was Google, it was pay per click, and now it's like everyone is just going to their LLMs nowadays. So I think that's a really great point. So anything else you'd like to share about Peakzi before we sort of close things out, Michael?
I just feel it's an amazing program. I think it's gonna kill me. I think the price point's too cheap for what they offer. It's just amazing what it has done, and it's just opened our eyes to the next wave. As I said, we got to get on it quick, and it's going to continue to change. And I believe that Peakzi's got their finger on the pulse. Every time I meet with them, they're like, "Hey, we've noticed this moving in our environment, and we think we should get on top of this." And it's it's impressive that they're very proactive rather than reactive. And I'm excited to be paired with them.
Well, certainly appreciate your words and insights about Peakzi, Michael. Thank you for that. So getting ready to kind of land the plane here. So, if you were to speak to a prospective customer, if one of them was listening right now, what would you say to them? What's your message for them? Why choose Moffett?
When you choose Moffett, you get the feel of a big company, right? We have the resources to take care of you 24 hours a day. Doesn't matter if, I'm on vacation with my family, or if I'm not feeling well and I'm under the weather and I can't come into the office, we have people here for you 24 hours a day. But at the same time, we're not such a large company. There's a lot of private equity in our industry these days. And it's actually very rewarding to still be family owned. And so I say to our clients, hey, you're supporting a family business that you spend money with us and we spend our money in our communities, and it all just comes right back. We appreciate the families we've served in the past. Really, it's generations. Being around as long as we have, it's very, very exciting to serve children and grandchildren of clients that we have served for many, many years. And we can't thank them enough. It's an amazing opportunity that they've given me and my family, and we appreciate it.
So, on that thought right now, so looking back at everything, and what a story, Michael, like truly, like your father started the business, you took the baton without any kind of leadership experience, not really knowing what you're into. And look at what you've done. You've grown it. You've made such an impact. So when you are looking back at things, like what kind of legacy do you hope to have left behind for your customers, employees, and your community?
I hope that we're seen in a positive light. A company that has high values and integrity, and that we've always done right by our clients. We're human. We've made plenty of mistakes, that's for sure, but it's how we handle those mistakes. And I hope that we're remembered for that. I'd like to say that my kids would take over as I did for my father, but I don't see that happening at this point. They're pretty much not involved. Although I do have one son that works for a CRM platform, House Call Pro. So he is kind of in the industry, if you will, but he's a computer engineer, and I don't think he has any desire to get into the trades.
Well, you certainly are a true home services leader, and you have a great success story. So thank you so much for sharing it with us today, Michael.
Absolutely. Thank you, Julian. Appreciate it.
Yeah, close us out. Share your social media, your website. How do people connect and follow you?
Find us at, this is a question for my wife on Facebook. I think we're Moffett Plumbing. Instagram, it's Moffett Plum. I know we're on TikTok as well. I have no clue. I am horrible at this type of stuff. But my wife could give you the whole runaround. But I guarantee you we're on every platform you can imagine out there.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure to get all that contact information and plug it in the show notes so folks can connect with you. So, Michael, this has been really wonderful getting to know you. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you.
And that is it for today's episode. And we'll see you next time on the Home Services Success Stories podcast, powered by Peakzi, the #1 AI platform for growing your home services business.